This is Ron from POCculture.com. Jingyi, Bloom, congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother.
Absolutely. Jingyi, I'm going to start with you. I feel like this film is like an Asian American love letter to hoops culture. You've got sneakers, you've got YouTubers like the professor referenced, Mac McClung. It's like
Yep.
such ingrained into the film, and I'm a hoops head. So I'd love to hear a little bit about how you like fell in love with hoops and what made you want to make a film about that.
Oh man, everything you're saying, huge part of my childhood. I started playing basketball when I was in elementary school. I had a neighbor who had a hoop. They had one of those that they put in the ground, and I would go over to his house and just play basketball with him. And through that, I just got introduced to not just the sport, but a whole culture, the NBA, college basketball. In high school, there was the N1 mixtapes, and, we would gather when they would play on TV and stuff like that. I think that like with this story, I discovered that there's something specific to Asian American, especially Asian American young men in basketball. And a lot of times I think that when I would go play, I would feel like it was more than a sport. I felt like I was dealing with things that, I was facing at home or at school. And so I wanted to inject that into this film.
Yeah, it's such a lifeblood. It's more than just a game, and I feel like you've really captured that. Now, Bloom, what about you? What's your background with basketball? Did you grow up a fan like Jingyi, or is it a little bit more new to you?
No, I've been playing basketball pretty much my whole life. I started in elementary school, and then I was on the travel team in middle school, and the team in high school for a year. So I've been a hoops head. I think that when it started was, I think the Rockets were playing when like Yao Ming was on the team. And then like my parents never like watched sports. But one night they called me up. I forgot how old I was, but they were like, look, there's like a Chinese person like in the NBA. And I was like, oh, cool. And I think that was like the first NBA game I ever watched. But then like after that, it kind of shifted to where I found like when I was on a team, I felt like the people around me were family in a way. And I think that connection with the people, with my teammates, like doing suicides or like whatever, that bond was something I craved, I think, in elementary school. And then I continued to like develop as I got older.
100%. I love that Yao Ming story, because even our parents understand like representation. Like, look, there's an Asian person where we wouldn't see that.
I don't think they knew what basketball was, but they were like, oh no, like there's like a Chinese person like there. And I was like, that's crazy.
That's right. Talking about parents, Jingyi, I know from your short film Toenail and into this film, there's heavy themes about like the disconnect between immigrant parents who are sacrificing so much, their kids, and then also themes about like standing up for yourself as an immigrant kid and things like that. What is the message you want to get across in this film related to those themes?
Well, I think the child-parent relationship is a huge thing in the Asian American community. A lot of us are second generation, and a lot of us really want to feel closer to our parents, but there's so many bridges that we need to cross, right? And with this film, what I hope that people see is that even if there are differences, even if there are misunderstandings, even if you feel like your parent might not see you, the truth of the matter is that both you and your parent are still growing, and that there's hope in the future that you guys will find a common connection. And I think that common connection comes through, pursuing your own dreams and goals. And that's the message from that perspective in this film.
Yeah, it really spoke to me. I think we're all growing. You forget that your parents aren't fully formed people. They're growing too. And
Yeah.
there's a huge disconnect there with immigrants. And I really appreciate that message. Now, Bloom, I appreciate what a hoops head you are, and like Kobe, obviously, is a huge presence in this film. You got the Kobe fives, you got the posters. What does Kobe represent for this film and this story?
Oh man, that's a big question. I think Kobe obviously is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, right? But I think what he represents it's like a mentality that Chang doesn't really understand yet, but wants to model himself after. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Kobe was chosen specifically for this film because of who he was off the court in terms of like how he approached his life and the game. And obviously in the news and like whatever we hear that Kobe has like this, you know, really aggressive or sometimes like mean personality, but he was actually also a very like introspective and very critical, but also very mindful of how he approaches life and the game. So I think, and also with like obviously like a never give up attitude. So I think like that mentality is a huge inspiration for Chang throughout it, because he doesn't really see that anywhere else, you know?
Absolutely. He needs that Mamba mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And like the mama mentality is like it's almost become like a meme, but like it is like a real thing that you don't see very often in the world. You know what I mean? And like to have it so pure from a single person, it's like it's really, you can learn a lot from it.
Absolutely. Now going to that, Jingyi, like I think like hoops and Asian culture, it's a very interesting intersection. And I have the like specifically this image of your cast behind me because this is one of the very rare movies where you have like Asian and Black leads working together. Like you see the friendship, the
Yeah,
brotherhood, the relationships. I loved that. You never see this. So
yeah.
talk a little bit about why it was important for you to show these different relationships, and especially between the two communities.
I mean, when you think of basketball and basketball stars, obviously the most famous examples are African American, and and it crosses race. If you're a hoops head, you respect ability. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when the dream team went to the Beijing Olympics, right? They were the most popular people. They were the most popular athletes there because what people saw was just pure basketball talent. And I love that. I love that, you know, sports and ability can cross any kind of cultural or racial gap. And in this film, like it's really interesting that you asked that question, because on the second day, you know, we were shooting some of the montage scenes, some of the training scenes between DeAndre and Chang. And I have seen so many like mentor mentee sports film, like giving a lesson scenes in my entire life. But I had never seen one like this. And to direct that was very powerful. And it's been inspired by like real relationships that I've had, that I've experienced. And I think that there are, on the basketball court, you see all kinds of weird friendships. You know what I mean? And that's what this film is about. It's about bonding through a shared passion.
I love hearing that. And like you said, I mean, Kobe is actually more popular in China than Yao Ming even, right? So it's like, I think
Yeah.
that absolutely gets that message across. Now, Bloom, about the cast, I love your chemistry with Ben and Zoe and Dexter.
Have you seen the movie?
I have. I
Okay,
have.
cool.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I love the dynamic, the mentorship, again, the relationships and friendships, the layers. Could you talk a little bit about the chemistry that you all formed? Like, there's anything that you all did to make sure you had that chemistry?
Oh, the chemistry is amazing. So I did chemistry reads with everybody you see on the screen, with Zoe, Dexter, and Ben. So like the chemistry was good already, right? Before we even started. But I think it's like it's really weird because I'll talk about each one of them like individually, right? So for Ben, to have like two two Chinese dudes just like be a lead of a Disney film is like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like absolutely insane. So a lot of the time, me and Ben were just like looking at each other, being like, "Yo, like what are we doing? Like like this is crazy. Like what are we?" We're just like, you know, and it kind of like reflected a lot of the um relationship in the film in that sense. We were like, we're friends. We're like actually friends who like joke around, and you know, with Dex, it's funny because like he's been in the industry and he's been in big movies for many years. So outside of set, he actually kind of acted as like a mentorship kind of figure in a way. You know what I mean? So it's like that chemistry was super easy because like we'd be doing a scene, but then like I would be asking him about like how to behave on set, or like what I do in this situation. And he would always have like really helpful, like insightful advice to give me. And with Zoe, like I think it's funny because like in the movie, Chang is amazed by her drumming skills. And for me, I'm so amazed by Zoe as an actress. Working with her was like super easy. It was always fun, it was always playful, and like it felt very smooth. So like my admiration of her as an actress was also helped build that chemistry, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, I think you all knocked it out of the park. Congratulations on the film. This is a film I wish I saw when I was a kid, and it's needed. So congratulations. I can't wait to see it again.
Ron, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.